Solving multi-step inequalities. Alright, when solving multi-step inequalities, you need to follow the same steps as if you're solving an equation. So we need to remember, though, that we need to flip the sign of an inequality sign if you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Remember, that's if the number you're moving when you're multiplying or dividing is negative, then you need to flip your sign. So let's go over our steps. First, we need to make sure we distribute. Second, we need to make sure we clear all of our fractions. Now, that is optional. You don't have to do it. Third is to get the variables on one side of the inequality sign and the constants, or just the numbers with no variables, on the other. And then the last step is to get the variable by itself for the solution. Alright, let's look at some examples. This first one, 2 times the sum x plus 2, then subtract 3x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Alright, our first step, we need to distribute. So I do 2 times x, which is 2x, 2 times 2, which is 4. Now I need to combine like terms, because I have this 2x and the minus 3x. So 2x minus 3x gives me a negative 1x. I still have my plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 1. Now I need to make sure my variables are on one side, which they are, and my constants on the other, which I need to move this 4. So I need to subtract 4 from both sides. I get negative x, negative x is greater than or equal to negative 5. And then to get rid of this negative 1x, I need to divide each side by negative 1. Now remember, when we divide each side by negative 1, notice what happens to my sign. I need to flip it, so I get x is less than or equal to 5. So when I'm graphing it, I do a closed circle on 5. Now x is everything less than 5, so I'm going to draw a line with an arrow going to all the numbers that are less than, or basically to the left. Alright, the second one, I have 15 is less than or equal to 5 minus 2 times the sum of 4m plus 7. Alright, the first thing I need to do is distribute. So 2 times 4m is 8m. And notice this is a minus, so this is a negative 2. So that gives me a negative 8. And negative 2 times 7 is negative 14, or minus 14, same thing. Now I need to combine like terms over here. I've got 5 minus 14, and that gives me negative 9. So I'm left with 15 is less than or equal to negative 9 minus 8m. I need to move this negative 9 over, so I add 9 to both sides. That becomes 0, so I've got 15 plus 9, and that's 24. So I'm left with 24 is less than or equal to negative 8m. Okay, to get m by itself, I divide each side by a negative. Notice I'm moving a negative number by division, so I need to flip my sign. Yet again, it changes. And 24 divided by negative 8 is negative 3 with my sign flipped. So this is saying 3 is greater than or equal to m. So that means when I come down here to graph it, I have a closed circle on negative 3 because it's equal to. And m is all numbers less than negative 3, so I'm going to go a line and an arrow towards the left. Alright, let's look at some practice problems. Okay, this first one, 6z minus 15 is less than 4z plus 11. Okay, variables on both sides, so I need to move it. I'm going to move the 4z by subtracting 4z from both sides. 6z minus 4z is 2z. And 4z minus 4z is just 0, so that goes away. So now left with 2z minus 15 is less than 11. I need to add 15 to both sides. This is 0, so I'm left with 2z. And this side, 11 plus 15 is 26. So I got 2z is less than 26. Then I need to divide each side by 2z. And 26 divided by 2 is 13. Notice nothing happened to the sign. It's z is less than 13 because I didn't divide or multiply by a negative number. So when graphing this, open circle on 13, and it's going to go to the left because z is all numbers that are less than 13. Okay, number 2, I've got 3b plus 12 is greater than 27 minus 2b. Alright, variables on both sides, so I need to move them to one side. I'm going to add 2b to both sides. That becomes 0, so I'm left with 27 on this side. 3b plus 12b plus 12, and I added 2b over here, so 3b plus 2b is 5b. So I've got 5b plus 27 is greater than, 5b plus 12 is greater than 27. Need to move this 12, so I do the opposite by subtracting it from both sides. That becomes 15, and the 12 minus 12 is just 0, which I'm left with just 5b. Alright, now I have 5b is greater than 15. I need to divide each side by 5 to get b is greater than 3. Now, again, I didn't divide by a negative number, so I didn't flip my sign. So I've got an open circle on 3, and it's going right this time because b is those numbers greater than 3. Okay, let's look at number 3. I have 4d plus 7 is less than or equal to 23. I'm going to first subtract 7 from both sides so I can get all my variables on one side, constants on the other. 23 minus 7 is 16. So I have 4d is less than or equal to 16. I'm going to divide each side by 4, and I get d is less than or equal to 4. So close circle this time on 4 because it's equal to. And going to the left because d is all the numbers smaller than 4. Alright, let's do number 4 together. 2j times the quantity of, 2 times the quantity of j minus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 6. First thing I need is distribute. So 2 times j and then 2 times minus 4. So that gives me 2j minus 8 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Now I need to move this 8 by adding 8 to both sides. So I add 8 here and as well to the negative 6. So I'm left with 2j is greater than or equal to 2. Now I need to divide each side by 2. And my answer is j is greater than or equal to 1. Now we need to still graph this. So it's a closed circle on 1 since I'm equal to. And j is everything larger than that. So I am going to go to the right and draw my line and my arrow. Alright, let's do number 5. First thing, we got both sides with parentheses, so we need to distribute everything. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 7 is 14. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times minus 2x is minus 8x. Alright, now I've got variables on both sides. I need to make sure they're all on one side. I'm going to add 8x to both sides. Okay, 6x plus 8x is 14x. Still have the plus 14, which is greater than 28. I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. I get 14x is greater than 14. And then I need to divide each side by 14. And I get x to be greater than 1. Okay, come over here to our number line. Open circle this time on 1 because it's not equal to. And x is greater than 1, so I need to draw a line with an arrow towards all the numbers greater than 1. Alright, let's look at a word problem. So we've got Jalen is a sales associate in a clothing store. Each week she earns $250 plus a commission equal to 3% of her total sales. This week her goal is to earn no less than $460. We need to write and solve an inequality to find the dollar amount of sales she must have to reach her goal. So I'm going to say X is my total sales. Okay, so I need to do 250 plus 3% of my total sales, which this should actually not be 0.3. It should be 0.03. Okay, so I'm going to first subtract 250 from both sides. 460 minus 250 is 210. And I messed up here because I didn't have it right in the problem. So this is 0.03. This should be 0.03. So I'm dividing each side by 0.03. And when I do that with 210 divided by 0.03, I get, basically she needs to spend, or not spend, but sell more than $7,000, either $7,000 or more, to basically get a check for $460 at the end of the week.